You're listening to the Radcast, a top 25 worldwide business podcast. If it's radical, we cover it. Here's your host, Ryan Alford.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the latest edition of the Radcast. It's Friday, September 1, 2023, Labor Day weekend. I'm joined by my co-host, my business partner, my Kimasabe, Chris Hansen. What's up, brother?
How you doing?
Hey, September 1. I don't know. It was kind of like a Halloween voice for some reason. Even though it's not, Halloween's not till October. But I don't know. It felt like profound that it fell on the 1st, of September.
When's the first day of fall? September 1?
Yeah. I think so. It's the first week of September sometime, right? I don't know.
You're ramping up that Halloween voice.
Yeah, exactly. My kids are talking about their costumes already. So, You
are wearing black and orange, too.
Hey.
Just representing.
I know. My Vaycay orange. And look, my matching, if you're watching the video, my shoes match my shirt today.
Very clean.
Yeah, keeping it tight here on the Radcast. Hope everyone is out there is doing well, avoiding the hurricane. I know you're in Miami. How was it down there, Chris?
Yeah. It was good. I mean, we got really crazy windy yesterday. I mean, this coast we've been pretty lucky, but it was coming down a little bit. But it was really the other side of Florida where my sister evacuated, my sister and my brother-in-law. So everyone's all good though. Yeah,
Tampa avoided the heavy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So luckily your boats aren't rocking. They might be rocking a little bit, but not, floating down Tampa Boulevard.
No, there were some casualties. Our captain sent us a video this morning. There was some sunken boats. Luckily we made it through gracefully.
That's good. Hey, It's college football weekend. Hey, first weekend of college football here. Well, I mean, they had a couple games last week, but I'm not counting any of those.
It hits different on Labor Day weekend.
Exactly. Like my Tigers play on Monday night, the primetime 8 p.m. game against the Dukies. Duke. I mean, Duke's been surprising, had a pulse last few years, 8-3, surprise, 7-4. Their coach has them playing pretty good, and Clemson should never be feared Duke. But first game of the year, going at Duke, it's kind of like trap game.
It'll be a good watch.
Yeah, we'll see. And but there's some good games, Florida State and LSU. So if you're listening and you like college football, you're going to hear a little bit about it. Just it's the way it is on the Radcast. And you never know. I think there's definitely a marketing component here because, look, influencers are all the rage, right? You got to get your products and services out there. And now college students can be paid. Name and image likeness, baby. So now they're going to be on TV. So you don't have to pay them as much as a celebrity, though some of them are making crazy bucks. But they're on television, so their name is getting out there. So they're getting more popular. So if you have a product or service that aligns with their personal brand, booyah. There you have it. We need to get some Vaycay in some of these college players,
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I think. I'm assuming that it's okay for their testing purposes. Who knows? I don't know the protocols with all that. We have to look into that a little further with the how they get tested.
It's got to be coming. I mean, if the NFL is kind of okay with it now, I would hope that the NCAA would follow suit.
Yeah, exactly. But so it's just interesting knowing the players get paid. And I was talking we've got an interview coming up soon with the next Clemson basketball player. And we talked about this a little bit and the fact of the discrepancies of pay between players. Because, I mean, a starting quarterback might be making $1 million this year, to high, at Alabama, Clemson, Florida, one of the big teams, the quarterback's probably making 7 figures if he's doing anything right or has an agent. And, the offensive lineman, his right tackle might be making, $10K maybe. Yeah, local gas station had him come down. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I hope it doesn't tear the sport apart. I'll just say that.
Could create some animosity amongst the team for sure.
Yeah. So the quarterback just needs to really be treating everybody, getting should be buying all the dinner, especially if they're blocking for his ass. So
yeah, for real.
Yep. Name him in image likeness. So we've got 4 or 5 big hitters this week. The news you need to know. Still a little light on the marketing and business news as people are winding down their summers. First, Pepsi. I always think of, born in the Carolinas. Pepsi was born in the Carolinas. We're here in South Carolina. Celebrating 125 years, Chris. 125. By my math, that means what? 1998? 1898? Not 1998. 1898? Is that 125 years? Reversing
We've only
that.
got 123 years more to go with Vaycay, and we'll be on that level.
That sweet goodness. It's 125 years old. A little sweeter than Coke. That was always the thing I always say. Pepsi's a little sweeter than Coke.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm a Coke drinker, but I will say 125 years, and I did look it up. It's interesting from a marketing perspective because Pepsi's always been the challenger brand. When I came up in marketing and advertising, there was always leader brands and challenger brands. And challenger brands always have to kind of outpunch, the weight because they're usually second. Coke is first, oldest company, has the category leader. And then you've got Pepsi, who's always been playing, the Pepsi challenge. They're always trying to catch the big guy. Well, I looked at how profitable is Pepsi as this challenger. Oh, they did 10 billion in profit the last year.
Holy shit.
10 billion, roughly. I'm rounding. But I'm like, the challenger brand ain't so bad. 10 billion in profit.
Second place ain't so bad at that. Yeah.
Yeah, ain't so bad. So they're doing a pop-up diner experience, traditional spots, and SMS promotions. They're pulling out all the big stops here, especially those text messaging campaigns. The anniversary promotion serve as the official introduction of a new logo and visual overhaul that emphasizes Pepsi Zero Sugar, the company's biggest growth driver. See, they've realized that sugar is bad and everybody's kind of getting on the zero. So you're seeing this now. Coke's already been doing it, and Pepsi's going to do it too, where they're going to be leading 80% of their marketing, and forward focus is going to be the zero sugar products. Finally, the goose is finally out that sweet sugary sodas are not good for you. Right. It only took 125 years.
You can't outmarket that trend, unfortunately, now.
No. Yeah, I will say I like the zero sugar Pepsi and Coke, but I do lean towards the Coke.
I go for the full.
The full Monty?
Full on. Yeah. Just give me the classic.
Yeah.
Because remove the sugar, there's still trash in both of them.
Yeah, but it's a little less trash. I make myself feel good about it. When I drink 6 Cherry Coke Zeros on a Saturday.
You've convinced me to
with
try.
Crown in it, but I'm like
balance.
Have
moderation.
Balance, Can't have sugar with the bourbon, right?
No.
Or whiskey.
No.
So Pepsi plans to bring new fans into the fold with free product giveaways to those who text Pepsi 125 to 81234. All these numbers really roll off the tongue. On August 28th, which would have been this past week. So I guess we're late. It's all part of the 125-year celebration that the brand is doing. They're spending millions because they make billions. Got to make money. You got to spend money to make money.
It's a fact.
I think we had this conversation. You're good with Pepsi? You like Pepsi?
Yeah, I'm good with it. I mean, I lean more towards Coke, but I do like Pepsi.
Yeah. You'll see equal numbers around the office here. Some Pepsi's been sneaking into the refrigerator. I'm like, our producer Sawyer is giving me a little bit of the evil eye. That might be him. I think he's the one. I found a Pepsi can on our Radcast table here. I'm like, whose Pepsi is this? I actually like Pepsi. I like the CMO a lot. I think he's actually doing some pretty creative things. It's just my personal taste and I have to be my authentic self. I just prefer Coke. So, but it's starting to sneak into the office. If I see a Pepsi Zero in there, I might get some. I'd be down for like ordering a case of Pepsi Zero, giving it some love, especially that new can, that new color can, the new branding.
I'm curious now. I'm going to have to go try it this afternoon.
You got it?
We'll run down to the mini mart.
I'd like to, what we should do, this would be interesting. On the Radcast, we're going to do a blind taste test.
Yes.
We're going to line up. I'm going to get Cameron to bring him in here. We're going to line up like different, like Coke Zero, Pepsi Zero. They even make a Pepsi Zero cherry. It's pretty tasty. And maybe like a Coke, like all four of those. And maybe like a wild card. And we'll see if it's all placebo branding or actual taste.
I've seen a lot of people do this and they're so convinced that they know like, oh, I'm a Coke guy. And I've seen people choose Pepsi or vice versa many times.
Yeah. This would be the true Pepsi. The Radcast Coke Pepsi challenge. Is it brand or taste? Brand is what is it all mental or is it truly taste? I don't know.
Plan to find out.
I'll put my taste where my mouth is at. Something like that. Apple is coming out with the iPhone 15. I will say this. You know that Apple's lost a little bit of sizzle when iPhone launches are kind of like, yeah. The innovation in smartphones is really sort of dwindled. I remember, I've marketed them for my whole life. I've talked about it. I launched the first iPhone, smartphone era, worked on every smartphone there is in marketing. And, there'd always be like we used up all the good stuff. It's like, now this one has an MP3 player. Yes. Okay. New feature. Now this one has a better camera. It's like, that's the only upgrade now. It's like we go from
selling features aren't things that appeal to your common consumer. I think there's nothing that comes out that I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go get that. Yeah,
no, there's not at all. I did, and we talked about this last year. I did get I have my burner phone. I mean, my other phone is a Samsung Z Fold, and it's not actually a burner phone. I don't have a burner phone, but it is my second phone, and I only bought it because it has the folding screen. That was the only thing I bought. I was curious. I was like,
sure.
And I was like, could use it for like note taking or something. Now it's just become, it sits on the table next to the TV. So like in between, like if I'm watching a game or watching something in the commercials, like I bring it out because it is good for playing like games. That's all it's used for. It's the most expensive, part-time gaming Game Boy of all time. But nonetheless, back to the article. Apple is set to host an iPhone 15 event on September 12th. The phone may bring a big upgrade to the line, possibly involving slimmer bezels, a dynamic island, and increased repairability.
Great.
Wow. I'm excited. The hyperbole of
how about just make them stronger? Make it so they don't bust as easily. They have the technology for that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just can't get real excited around the slimmer bezels.
I'm not going to wait in line for 3 hours for that.
Steve Jobs is like turning in his grave when this is the article. Slimmer bezels and increased repairability. No. The Apple Watch Series 9, we move straight on to that's all we have to say about the iPhone, is also expected to be featured. It's got the new A15 Bionic chip. It's not just a chip, it's Bionic. And a new pink edition. Now it's just all about the colors. Additionally, public versions of the latest OS will likely launch at the same time. The event will also provide an opportunity for Apple to showcase Vision Pro content prior to its 2021 release. And it's like, in other news, there'll be a snore fest at the Apple event.
Right.
Trying to keep them awake with Tim Cook explaining why we should give a shit about dynamic island and increased repairability.
they're going to be like, all right, all employees, you're required to attend this launch event because none of the general public is any excitability
the press
about
is not
this.
coming anymore. No
Right.
press will be there.
It's like, I'm not hyped up about it at all.
I don't know. I think I have an iPhone 13. I get a new one just when I break mine. It's now just purely like if the battery stops working as well or I break it.
Same.
You know, like it's
Like when it's an absolute necessity.
yeah, it's all need now. It used to be all want. It used to be emotionally driven want for Apple. Like I gotta have it. I need that. I didn't even know I needed
can
it.
store 100 more songs. Okay, yeah, I want that. Yeah, now it's like an island and slimmer.
Yeah,
like great,
like,
so it'll slip out of my hand more and break easier. Therefore, it needs to be easier to repair.
Yeah, and it can be fixed better. You know, like and it's got that slim bezel.
They just need to make it so the back quits shattering all the time. Like, even if I have a case on it, if I pull it off, it's just a bunch of shards of glass on the back of my phone.
Yeah.
I do have a tendency to drop it, or I leave it in my lap when I get out of the car, and then all of a sudden it lands on the ground, you know?
I do think that the screens have gotten better. I mean, I'm pretty rough on my
I
phones.
agree.
And there's stuff that I do now where I'm like, I had to have broke because, it's kind of like, the game of surprise, like when it falls and it's face down and you're like, you don't want to pick it up.
That one sounded like it. That one sounded like it did it.
I'll get out of the car, like it'll be somewhere. And not only is it falling and ready to hit, my leg will kick it 10 more feet.
Yeah.
Like that happens like 2 or 3 times a year, not all the time, but like, I'm like, it's a goner. I go over there and I'm like,
hot potato.
Don't want to pick it up, because it's not face up. It's like, okay, cameras look intact. I think I'm okay. I don't know about that face. That face is shattered. I know it. Hey, it's not. Thank you. Thank you.
There is a moment of like
of pure drama. Just one.
Yeah.
Is it broken or not? I don't know. The good thing is I can get a new one that has a slimmer bezel and more easily repairability.
I'm trying to figure out what a dynamic island means.
It's something to do with like the top screen, like where you scroll, like multi-app capability and like getting to apps easier. It's all in the it's the OS and how they make the phones with that. You have a little notch at the top.
Yeah.
They come without the notch now, or like with graphics that cover the notch. It's just
groundbreaking,
unexciting. Steve Jobs turned in his grave, guarantee you.
Poor guy.
Walmart is launching back to school Supercampus experience on Roblox. My kids, I tell them they need to go in that Roblox and buy some back to school supplies. Tired of buying that Trapper Keeper. Remember Trapper Keepers?
Hell
Kids don't buy those anymore. That's old school shit right there.
I think I have one somewhere in my house.
Yeah. Now it's just
because they're great for organizing.
I know, organizing all your files and all your stuff.
Yeah.
Marking a new Roblox experience, Walmart has introduced Supercampus, a back-to-school themed game. The retailer announced this past Wednesday. Supercampus experience on Roblox. I'm telling you, my kids, I'm gonna go make them like get on it. They still play a little Roblox. Players aged 13 and up, that's only one of my sons, so I'll get him on it. Can solve puzzles and play using supplies from Bic, Crayola, 3M, and other popular back-to-school brands, the company said. The retailer designed its environment to follow Roblox's latest rules for all ages, per the press release. That comes to us from our good friends at Marketing Dive, marketingdive.com. They got great articles. We pull from them all the time, and we appreciate them bringing marketing news. But have you ever played Roblox? Or seen anybody play Roblox? You don't have any kids, Chris.
Never.
I know, so you wouldn't.
No.
The brand experiences are pretty cool, actually. It's hard, like, if you don't play it or you haven't seen it, but, like, watching my kids play it, I know that they're getting impressions, like brand impressions. Because I will say this, and I think I've talked about this before, I had this is always McDonald's all the time in the Alford household. The kids always want McDonald's, Happy Meals, or bust when it's their choice. But suddenly we started getting like Wendy's requests out of nowhere. I'm like, where's this Wendy's request thing's coming? And I know they're not watching TV. They're not getting watching commercials. Well, sure enough, there was this Wendy's experience on Roblox.
No way.
100%.
So you've seen real time the impact this had.
It obviously got in their brain. They're like, let's go to Wendy's. And they do like Wendy's, and we do go to Wendy's sometimes. I prefer Wendy's. But I had never really had them ask for it. And so proof in the pudding that these activations work for the younger generation. And they do impact the household spending. Mom, let's go to Wendy's. Dad, I want a Frosty. Now. I'm like, okay, settle down.
I love their Frosties.
It is a good Frosty, So Wendy's has had multiple executions in Roblox. A lot of brands have. And we said this when we panned the metaverse 2 years ago, that the lone standing soldier, the one that we talked about the most then and now, was Roblox, because that was actually the truest real-time execution of things that people like, kids or games that people are playing. So anyway, Walmart going heavy in the metaverse / Roblox. I hope everybody checked out this week's edition. This is a really impactful, like, some of our stuff's like, if you follow us by now, our guests, everything we bring it back to a marketing and business theme. Some things are more like actionable, like, okay, how do I get leads in my business? Well, that's what this was all about. Tanner Chittister, CEO of Elite CEOs and a renowned fitness coach, was on talking about how to get leads. I really stuck it to him. I'm like, Tanner, I like to give value to the audience. And so he laid out the playbook for how to get leads online, what he's doing with his company. Really impressive guy, and really got deep at the end. So if you haven't checked that out, that was this week. Our guest on the Radcast. Next week, I just mentioned this, ex-Clemson basketball player Brevin Galloway is on. He's playing in Lithuania now as a pro player. Really he's blowing up on TikTok. So everybody's like, okay, well, is this just Ryan playing, having a Clemson player on? Yeah, it is a little bit. It's my fucking show. Get over it. But but here's the real truth. He's got thousands of followers on TikTok and pushing that on Instagram, and is a paid NIL athlete. Now, no longer NIL athlete because he's a pro in Lithuania, but talked about the realities of that and some of the things I talked about earlier with NIL players getting played. And he's got a great story for how he played 4 years at Charleston, then went to Boston College, and then went to Clemson and helped them win a lot of games, and had one of the best, I would say, single season careers at Clemson. He did really well, won a lot of games for them, but really good story, and talking about what it's like over there in a foreign country. We did talk about Google Translator quite a bit. So check that out next Tuesday, right here where you're listening to us now. And if you want, go hit play on all the other channels too. We'd really appreciate the extra downloads. You have any friends that made money in NIL? You probably run into the athletes like in Miami yet, Chris?
I don't even know what NIL is.
Name and image likeness. College players getting paid.
Nothing I can name off. I mean, I had a lot of buddies play NCAA sports, but that was,
before it was legal for them to make money.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they were making some money, but not.
the $100 handshakes at the local
yeah, exactly.
car dealership. So I want you to come down and check out my new cars. I want you to see these things.
They were still getting compensated in other ways, obviously, but no, I've yet to meet anyone down here, but I'm sure I'll cross paths, and when I do, we'll have them on.
There you go. The last thing I want to mention is, this was an article we saw a couple weeks ago. We got busy. I think we had too many topics for that day. But if you look at Target's latest numbers, they're pretty in the tank. And it kind of goes and follows the line. And I'm going to stay out of like hardcore political beliefs that divide people. I think if you listen to me enough, you know my content, you probably know where I stand. But that's not the point of this. The point of this is corporations feeling like they need to stand up or to potentially alienate 98% of their buying public to appease and make 2% feel good is not smart business. You need to know who your audience is. You need to know who's buying from you. And you can't alienate and offend one while trying to prop up another. It's unfortunate, but it's stupid. And so it's having a major impact at the ultimately the cash register. And so it's not surprising. And I don't pretend to know. We live in a free country. You know, First Amendment needs to apply to everyone. So I can have my beliefs, you can have your beliefs, you do these things as corporations. But just be prepared to know what happens when you try to make everybody happy and you try to appease all sides and you go against some core values that this country was built on. So I don't know where you fall on this, Chris. We aren't Shock Talk Radio, but it's more the numbers speak for themselves. And some of the marketing decisions, business decisions are just asinine.
I'm right there with you. I mean, I know there's been a lot of talk about this, and I know it looks like, from my understanding, that it's the equity scores. I forget the exact term or abbreviation, but essentially the banks financing these corporations are kind of pushing their agenda, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm right there with you, where why would someone running one of these companies even put themselves in any corner? You know,
right.
Just provide good products and good service and stay out of the fucking politics. It seems like a really bad move, and clearly the numbers are reflecting that. You know, I would hope that the power of the dollar gets a message across to these companies that maybe they need to rethink their marketing strategies and who they're deciding to partner with.
Yeah. And know the values of the people that are paying your bills and your paychecks. Like
100%.
I mean, and I don't know. It
just makes me think, like, who the hell is running y'all's marketing? How out of touch are they with the masses?
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's going to be interesting because the backlash has been so profound. The numbers are so profound for what happened with, you know, Budweiser and now with Target, where corporations hopefully learn their lesson. You know, like, it's just when you sell a mass market product to a lot of different people, you just can't lift up one and push down another, whether intentional or unintentional. And you can take a stand, but do it at your own peril if you do it against the values of who's ultimately buying your products.
Right.
So it's a very delicate situation because I understand both sides of it. And you can't have it both ways. I mean, you can't have your own First Amendment rights and sayings and then say, well, you know, what they're doing is not okay. But it doesn't mean that we can ignore the values and principles that 92%, 98% of Americans have and were brought up with. So where those two things...
Where's your marketing team, your research team? Like, is no one looking at your demographic and saying, hey, this campaign may not resonate with our core client base? And a company like Target, you and I both know, they've got the resources and the research and the data. Like, I find it very hard to believe that they did not realize this would turn off a lot of their clients.
I think it's so how insulated that you'd be surprised, man. I worked with, you know,
you would know better than me from your experience.
Like on the marketing, how insulated it gets. Sometimes the vacuum that it gets.
The tunnel vision.
We would do focus groups and things like that, but like, and now they have more data than they've ever had. We have twice as much data as we had 10 years ago. But like, it's so insulated, and the most progressive tend to get into some of these positions. Sure. And I don't think that the best decisions always get made with the type of scrutiny that you would.
I hate to say this. I've had this experience with one of my own companies where, there was some personal beliefs starting to drip into the corporate culture.
Yep.
Which that's not my job. Our job is to provide good service, good customer service, and a good product, nothing more than that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So you're right. It does seem that these larger corporations, you have these highly educated people from very progressive universities that their resume checks out, but maybe their
touch with reality,
is a little out of
who their customer might be.
A lot of out of touch with reality, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think you can provide a safe and warm environment internally for all people without pushing it into your marketing, whatever 100%. It might be on either side, by the way. So
totally agree.
There you have it. Stay out of politics if you're a brand. Just my opinion.
Just make good products and serve your customers. That's it.
The free advice here on the Radcast.
Take your own money and do your donations or whatever you believe in. But
yeah,
I could care less.
If your whole company, if your whole company is built on the foundation of that belief, and that's what you sell and who you sell to, whatever it might be, fine. But not as a mass
if
market.
you have a firearms company, obviously I'm going to be pro Second Amendment because I sell firearms. Yeah. That completely makes sense. But when your Target's selling everything from groceries to freaking lawn chairs to clothing, I just want to go buy my shit. I don't care what you believe in,
Yeah. And I think America spoke with their wallets. So there you have it.
Yeah.
Today's podcast brought to you, if you're watching the video, by Vaycay, Vaycay, the only way to take a vacay. Premium wellness products delivered straight to you. Third-party lab tested, all of it. Chris and I, co-founders of the business, full transparency. But look, we have a lot of belief in this product. We also have a new podcast called the Vaycay Podcast, Vaycay, where you can check out and hear about all that. I'd recommend episode 1 so you hear about Chris's background in more depth, as well as episode 8 or 9. We talk really about the products, what their benefits are, why we're doing it. So those would be 2 I would cherry pick if you're wanting to go check out a new podcast. And you can go to rolloffthepain.com. You'll find what I've just used before coming in here for my tennis elbow. It's our CBD roll-on cooling relief. Feels cold, feels good at first, then the pain numbs in about 15 minutes. Maybe it allowed me to get through this Radcast without complaining, Chris.
Well, thank God no one wants to hear that.
It's bad for ratings.
I use it every night. I use it on my neck and my temples.
Yep. I use it on the temples too, and I'm getting a headache.
Yeah.
Helps avoid it. So rolloffthepain.com. That takes you straight to our CBD roll-on pain product. But then you go to takeavacay.com. See all our product lineup. Our new mushroom product is right there on the forefront. Relieves stress, takes the edge off, gives you a little bit of euphoria, but not outer space. Check it out. Takeavacay.com. We got Labor Day weekend, my friend. And just in case you didn't know, today is Lazy Mom's Day. So if anyone's listening to us on the Friday as we released, all you lazy moms out there, we salute you.
Salute. Although it's hard to be a lazy mom.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know that I want to meet a lazy mom.
No, me neither.
But it's your day, so you can spend it like you want. I hope everyone has a very safe Labor Day weekend. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. That opens up a lot of flexibility. But
yeah, a lot of freedom in that statement.
Yes. I'll be on the lake, having a few cold ones, celebrating, throwing kids around, throwing the football around, watching a little college football. Go Tigers. Any final words, my friend?
I'll be hanging on the beach with little Vaycay.
There you go.
It's my Labor Day.
Always tough in Chris's life there in Miami as the single man.
Man, it's stressful out here.
You find him at tinder.com, bumble.com, or
no Tinder.
Miami's most single. Coming to a singles app near you, Chris Hansen. Miami's most eligible bachelor. Well, sort of.
You got to promote Vaycay every way you can, you know?
Exactly.
That brand awareness.
We need to put like our different products on Tinder, like swipe right or left. Like that's
actually brilliant. I did actually hear a story about a guy that owned a restaurant down here, and he would tell everyone, he pretended he didn't own it, but he'd say, meet me at this restaurant for dinner. He would essentially, flake. Yeah. And then just drive traffic to his restaurant using the dating apps. I'm like, damn, that's some real creative guerrilla marketing. Because people will end up saying, well, screw it, I'm here. I might as well order something or have a coffee while I wait.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it. We thank you, everyone, wherever, whenever, however you're listening. Find us at theradcast.com. I'm at Ryan Alford on all the platforms. We'll see you next time on the Radcast.
Later, y'all.
To listen or watch full episodes, visit us on the web at theradcast.com or follow us on social media at our Instagram account, the.rad.cast, or at Ryan Alford. Stay radical.